शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Shiv Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Ka Shobha Janavi Tata Bane Jagamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Amar Gaura Chandir Arati Shobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Jaga Janamana Lobha Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Dakhine Nitai Chant Vame Gadadhar निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनिवास छत्रधार বসি আছেন গৌরচাঁদ রত্ন সিংহাসনে আরতি করেন ব্রহ্মা আদি দেবগানে শিবনর হরি আদি করি চামড় হুলায় সঞ্জয় মুকুন্দ বসু ঘোষাদি গায় শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে বাজে করতাল মধুর মৃদঙ্গ বাজে পরমর শাল মাধুর মাধুর বাজে মধুর মাধুর মাধুর বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর 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 বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর 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 বাজে মাধুর 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 বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর মাধুর মাধুর বাজে মাধুর 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 বাজে হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল জয় গৌর হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी बदना उज्ज्वल
बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी बदना उज्ज्वल
गला देशे वानमाला करे झालमाला
गला देशे वानमाला करे
Shiva Shukanarada Preme Gadagara
Shiva Shiva
Vakadi Vinoda Dekhe Gaurada Shambha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Radhati Kashobha Janabhijadavani Jagamanalobha Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaur Hari Bol
Krishna Jadavaya Namah
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan
Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Nidai Gauranga Nidai Gauranga
Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga
Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare
Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
परमहंस वर्षिकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद शिल वैष्णव भक्ति वेदांत साईं महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नाम आचार्य शिल ठाकुर हरिदास की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी रानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीथी संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय, श्री गोपाल श्रीनाथ जीजू की जय, श्री श्री राधा माधव हरि की जय, गौ प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Sri Prabhupada.
Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Pradhadala dadayane. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatanka nakhalaye. Shilatanka nakhalaye. Yuto nrisimho, parato nrisimho. Yuto nrisimha, parato nrisimha. Yato, yato yami tato nrisimho. Yato, yato yami tato nrisimho. Mahi nrisimho, hridaye nrisimho. Mahi nrisimho, hridaye nrisimho. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapadye. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapadye. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapadye. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapadye. Tava kara kamalavare. Nakham adbhuta shringam. Dalita hiranyakashipo. Tanu bringam. Keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Sarakamalavare Nara Urganinga Kalita Iranyakashipo Karuninga Keshavarika Jalahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Prabhat, Bhakta Prabhat, Jaya Bhakta Prabhat, Jaya Bhakta Prabhat. Jaya Bhakta नवनाश कन्नर सिंह
भगवान की जय।
भक्तर प्रसाद महाराज की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओ प्रेमानंदे।
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Shri Radha Madhav Hari Dham. On behalf of presiding deities, Shri Radha Madhav Hari, we are happy you are here to join us for our Sunday feast class. We have a special guest speaker today, His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu, and we also have Mataji Shimurti Devi Dasi, and they've been here with us for a few days. And we've had some really wonderful kirtan and classes. Today is one of the last class at the temple. Prabhu is going to be talking about churning the milk ocean. And most of you know by now that he's a Prabhupada disciple. He joined ISKCON when he was 15 years old. And he has a BA in Asian Studies and a master's in language and literature, and he specialized in Sanskrit and Hindi. He speaks fluent Hindi and Brajvashi languages, and so you'll find through his classes he'll talk a little bit in Hindi as well. And he traveled worldwide preaching, talking about lecturing on Bhakti Yoga. We're very, very fortunate to have him here, and I'm going to give the mic to Prabhu now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना
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 तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीरा
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा
माधव कुंज बिहारी
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा
माधव कुंज बिहारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी
गोपी जन
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी
गोपी जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
प्रेमानंदे हरि जय विष्णुपद परमहंस प्रसिकाचार्य श्रोत्रशत श्री श्रीमद शिल भाई चंद्रावरण भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय गौ प्रेमानंदे Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I thought maybe we could speak something from the Srimad Bhagavatam because after all, Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana, Amala Purana, sometimes also called Amala Pramanam for that reason. So, in the 5th canto, we get a glimpse into the transcendental character of Prahlad Maharaj, which is something that it's a good idea for us all to study, because we should really try to emulate his exalted character, such a saintly devotee of the Lord, Prahlad. And he was only 5. Consider the things that we were thinking of when we were 5, and the things that Prahlad is thinking of when he was 5. We'll hear one of them at least tonight. So in the 5th canto, chapter 18, text number 9, he's praying to Lord Narasimhadev, and he gives a very good idea of his own transcendental consciousness. A very famous verse also. So please repeat after me. We always begin with Mangalacharana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishne Swadhamo Pagate Dhanamajnanadhibisaha Kalau Nashtadrishamesha Puranarko Dhunoditaha. In the interest of saving time, I'm just going to chant this verse myself, because not everyone knows it. Unless you're confident you want to chant it, show of hands. Okay. Minority loses. Swastyastu vishwasya khala prasidatam dhyayantu bhutani shivam mithodhya manashta bhadram bhajatar dhokshaje aveshyatam no matirapya haitaki. This, let's have the translation on the board, because I only have the commentaries here. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and thus always remain absorbed in thought of him. Anybody who has a microphone here, kindly read the purport.
The following verse describes a Vaishnava. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just like a desired tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons like his father, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demoniac father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parma Nirmatsaranam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Khala prasidatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha bhadram bhajatat adokshaje. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Narsimhadev to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. Let Lord Narsimha sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean, so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benedictions from him. Even pure, Nishkama devotees pray for the same benediction as instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastakam. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patita mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja sita dhuli satrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahituki tvai. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord, but because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire expressed in his prayers is Swasti Astu Vishwasya. Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandita, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlada, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of the devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Khala prasidatam. The difficulty is that the khala, envious living entity, is rarely specified. One kind of khala, the snake, can be specified simply by mantras or by the action of particular herb. Mantra aushadhi vashaha sarpaha khala kena nivaryate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. If the Krishna conscious movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious people will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays, Shivam mitho diya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajatad adokshaje. As indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sa vai manaha Krishna padar vindayoh. And as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 1865, Man mana bhava madbhakta. One should constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one's mind will certainly be cleansed. Chedo darpanamarchanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification, but Prahlad Maharaj prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds and they will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe would be vacated because everyone would go back home, back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by the Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanathemananthasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyayavascha Patatanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. My dear Lord Gopal, only if you accept my words as your cows will they be able to provide sweet milk and good pleasure to your devotees. In this verse, as one of the first things that Srila Prabhupada says, is that we see in the character of Prahlad Maharaj that of a typical Vaishnava. He uses that adjective. How many Vaishnavas do you know personally who are like Prahlad Maharaj? So it doesn't seem to fit, right? Prabhupada chose his words very carefully. That's why I asked his editors, please don't change things also, because actually on one occasion at least he told one reporter who asked him, how do you know what to write in your books? Prabhupada nonchalantly replied, Krishna tells me. And one of my godbrothers interjected to try to, buffer that statement for the reporter that, Krishna provides intelligence to someone who is sincere devotee. And Prabhupada slammed his hand down on the desk, right in front of this disciple, right in front of the reporter, in front of everybody. Room was full. And he said, no, it's not like that. He said, Krishna stands right next to me and dictates to me every single word. Who can make a claim like that? From that point on, everyone in the room was silent, listening with utmost attention, including the New York Times religion editor, who was there interviewing Srila Prabhupada. So, when he says that Prahlad is a typical Vaishnava, how are we to process this? The way I take it is that Prabhupada is trying to remind us that it's not enough just to chant with keep a kanti mala and to put tilak and chant on your beads, because, as I think Kabir Das said, you have a Bhagavad Gita in one hand and you have a dagger behind your back in the other hand. This is our character. So, but Prabhupada is reminding us that this is the way a Vaishnava should be. And it's not so easy thing. Even with this benediction, which is practically what it is from Prahlad Maharaj, Swasti astu vishvasya, let the entire universe be auspicious. Still there's a problem, which is raised by some of the commentators. We can see what Sridhar Swami, for example, has to say about this verse. Vishvasya swasti prarthane khalasyapi bhavet tatcha sarupidam vinanasyat anyonyam amangalam dhyayatam cha bhutanam anyonyaghatam vina na bhavet ityashankyaha. Someone may doubt that if we're including the envious when we're praying for universal auspiciousness, that's okay, but there should definitely be no oppression of the sadhus, because that would contradict Krishna's purpose of appearance. Why does Krishna appear in this world? Who knows? Everybody knows. Famous verse, huh? Yeah, paritrayana sadhunam. So if the envious demons are harassing sadhus, which they always do, even in 2025, they're still doing it, then how are we going to benefit the world if we're praying that we all become auspicious? That includes the demons. Let us not empower the demons. This is his doubt. So, therefore he says, khala prasidatam. Next phrase means, may the envious persons, the rascals, be pacified. Giving up their cruelty. And living beings should only consider each other's welfare. This is another thing he says, that Bhutani chamita shivam eva dhyayanto tesham manashta bhadram upashamadikam bhajato no asmakam api matirapi shabdad bhutanam chamatir ahaituki nishkama sati. That means that may their minds be auspicious, let them worship peacefully. The word api suggests that among all living beings, let even our minds be unmotivated. And what does unmotivated mean? You don't have your own personal agenda to fulfill. Desireless. Not absolutely desireless, but you're not privileging your own desires. You're privileging instead whose desire? Krishna's desire. The desire of Krishna and his representatives. In the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Viraraghavacharya has given a commentary at length also. I'm not going to read the Sanskrit there. He says, he speaks this verse beginning with Swasti, may there be auspiciousness for the universe, Jagat. So again, he raises the same question, that in praying for universal auspiciousness, including even the Avanyas, doesn't that mean that they are going to oppress the sadhus? So, Khala Prasidadam means, Khala means wicked person, Durmati, stupid people also. The idea is that they too should be pacified, prasanno bhava, giving up their cruelty. May they become wise, in other words. From Durnamati say, Sumati, Hojana. So let living beings who are simply toxic consider each other more wisely. Sumatya. Let them worship with peaceful minds. May our minds also become unmotivated, that is to say, without any thought of fruitive reward. And may we become absorbed in the transcendental Lord. The idea is, let us be inclined to Bhagavan. Srila Vijayadvaj Tirtha of the Madhva Vaishnava Sampradaya, he also says very briefly, Vishwasyarthe swastyastu narasingha prasidatam he harivarsha janaha bhadrani uddishya nriharim dhyayanto shivam nityashaddham manodhyash shastramananena upasana lakshana dhyanena cha manasya bhadram sakala mangala rupam harim bhajatat no asmakam matirapya dhokshijaya vishyatam ahaituki phalabhisandhirahita. O residents of Harivarsha, he's speaking to his citizens. Where's Harivarsha? It's another one of the Varshas here in Jambudvipa. The universe is his Bhagavatam cosmology. It's a little bit complicated, but he lives in his own place called Harivarsha, and so many others are living there with him. Why do they all live there together? Because they're all bhaktas of Lord. Kaun? Narasingha. Prahlad means Narasingha only, right? So they're worshipping like that. O residents of Harivarsha, may Narasingha be pleased and bestow auspiciousness upon the universe. May all meditate on Narihari, intent on auspiciousness. Now here the word Shivam, you may have noticed, what is the word? Second line. I don't remember just now. Manashya bhadram bhajatara hokshije. No. Jhayantu bhutani shivam mithotiya. This is the idea. Let their minds be auspicious. And here he says Shiva in this sense means may they be permanently pure. Our minds are... Oh, we don't need this. Yeah. Our minds are generally only auspicious on Sunday afternoon at around 5 or 6 p.m., right? Otherwise, we may start our day very nicely doing puja, especially if we wake up early in the morning, as we should. Ayurveda even says that if you don't wake up before sunrise, all the poisons, toxins in your body, they recirculate, redistributed throughout your system, and they add up. And when that stuff accumulates, it leads to disease. So hopefully we rise early and we meditate on God in the early morning. But by the end of the day, especially after coming from work, we feel like we're demons again, isn't it? Mind is covered with the film of Maya, materialistic input all day long. What do you expect? So therefore he says, Shiva means permanently pure, nitya shuddham. May we become purified and stay purified. So, through considering the meaning of Shastra Manana, with the aim of focused worship, may even our minds become auspicious. May even our minds become auspicious, absorbed in the transcendental Lord, Adhokshija. And how do we do that? Unmotivatedly. Ahaituki. Hetu ka matlab kya hai? Hetu. How do we say this in colloquial English? Agenda. You have an agenda. You have some motive to fulfill. So, he's saying here that we don't want to do that. Our worship of Bhagavan should be ahaituki, only for his happiness, without personal motives of fruitive gain. He says the same thing that Viragavacharya had said. Phalabhi sandhira hita should be devoid of any connection with any kind of fruitive gain that comes. So this is what happens if we worship Hare. Jiva Goswami has not commented on this verse, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has been paraphrased by Srila Prabhupada in his purport also. And he points out that having chanted his mantra, now he prays for universal auspiciousness. Because whenever you chant a mantra, it's expected you're asking for a prayer. This is what we do when we go to the temple, right? That's why in the end of every prayer, usually you get these, what do we call it? Phalashrutis. If you chant this prayer, X or Y happens. So here he's praying even for the sinful. But the devotees should not be oppressed. This is the same concern that virtually every commentator repeats on this verse. So he prays that the demons become devoid of anger, prasidatam. Now, even if the devotees are not afflicted, there might still be mutual animosity between living beings, is it not? In other words, even if you're a civilized human being, you don't say anything. You don't do anything physically. It's not like you go up to somebody that you can't stand and just punch them in the face unprovoked. But we have this ill will in our hearts. Why is that? Because actually we're envious. This is the real reason. We're all envious. Somebody else has something that I want, or I have something somebody else wants. That's why security is such a big concern now. Those of you in the IT field, security. It's the defense propensity. 4 animalistic propensities we all share with the animals. What are they? Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitanam cha. So this bhaya, fearing, this is a security field of security. So, and armies worldwide and so many, the ring cameras and everything is based on this. So, because there's mutual animosity amongst all living beings in this world. So there cannot be any auspiciousness in that. So what does it mean then? Shivam mitodhya. It means we should think of each other's welfare. Let our minds become auspicious. Therefore, he says, may all beings meditate on auspiciousness. Auspiciousness cannot exist alongside attachment to material enjoyment. This is the crucial thing here. That's why they're all saying, Nishkama hona chahiye ya ahaituki hona chahiye. Kyon? Because as long as you're trying to enjoy this material world, you're going to be envious of other people who are doing the same thing. This is the world where such persons are thrown. In Vaikuntha, nobody has this spirit. We are criminals, in effect. And our consciousness is criminal. There's no doubt about that. And therefore, we're thrown together into the prison with all the other criminals, just like an Indian jail. And, God help you once you find yourself in that circumstance. Not very pleasing. Have you noticed? Especially in recently we're having, so many, wars are being declared and nuclear problems happening and just lots of envious stuff going on in the world today. Only because nunam pramatta kurate vikarma yadindriya pritaya apranoti. Bhagavatam tells us, Rishabhadev tells us in the Bhagavatam, that people who are confused or you have a bodily misconception of life, who are convinced that they are the material body or mind, these people will not hesitate to do any sinful thing to fulfill the demands of the body and the mind. That's called slavery. Therefore, the hallmark of South Asian civilization has always been, from the very start, detachment. Because that is the only objective evidence we have of someone's advancement in consciousness. Otherwise, somebody who's fighting like everyone else for sense gratification, they're all animals. They're all animals. The mouse is afraid of the cat is afraid of the dog is afraid of the tiger, adi, adi, adi. So, this is us. This is materialistic life. We all have animal propensities that we cannot or will not free ourselves from. So what to do about that? This verse is the panacea. So, therefore he prays that the mind become auspicious. Bhadram here means without attachment. Without bhakti, auspiciousness is inauspicious. The point is that you can't have this kind of clean consciousness without bhakti. It's not possible. You have to get some taste from somewhere, no? Rasovaisa. Everyone is by nature pleasure-seeking. Anandamayobhyasat. So, if we don't know better than competing like animals in this world, then what's our hope? None. It's going to continue to be a miserable place. So, therefore he prays, may our nishkama, ahetuki minds, be absorbed in Krishna. Now, this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, as Prabhupada has already paraphrased in his own purport. Since no words like today or right now are being mentioned in this prayer, it's understood that the Lord will fulfill one's desires over a period of time, according to your karma or according to his own sweet will. Either way, you don't have much control over it. Did everybody got that? Whether it's the Lord fulfilling your desires or whether your karma fulfills your desires, either way, you have very little say in the matter. So you have to be patient. Okay. Now, one should not say, however, that all the jivas will be liberated eventually and then the universes will empty out. Sometimes people ask this question, hey, if everybody becomes Krishna conscious, that's how's the world will go on? They always doubt like as if that's a problem. Hey, if everybody becomes clean, then what do we do in the prison? Oh, ठीक रहेगा, ऐसा होना चाहिए, no? So, the idea is that since the Jiva Shakti and the Maya Shakti are eternal, both of them, the Jiva Shakti will eventually, the Maya Shakti will eventually influence so many other jivas, and they will come back and fill up this universe. After we go, somebody else is coming, Zurur. So, this is Vishwanath Chakravarti. Now, in the Pushti Marg Sampradaya, we have another commentator. His name is Goswami Giridharilal. He's written a very nice summary of this verse. I'm going to skip the Sanskrit again, it's too long. But he says, Prahlad prays to the Lord personally because Prahlad has a personal relationship with the Lord. That also should be there. And he teaches that although we're demons, it is allowed that we pray to the Lord. The word Vishwasya indicates the entire universe, and Swasti means auspiciousness, Mangalam. Even the Maithili poet Vidyapati, he also prayed like this. What is it? He says, you're called Jagannath throughout the whole three worlds, but I am also within that Jagat, no? So, Nahimo Ichar. Don't leave me out. So, this is Prahlad's mood here in this verse. So one may question, now again, this is the same point that we've already heard from others. If he prays for the welfare of the whole universe, then how's that possible without also empowering the demons? who oppress sadhus. How is it possible? That's true. The demons can never really think of anyone else, because the very nature of a demon is to think of himself only. But here he shows how, by mentioning khala prasidatam. Because they're peaceful at heart, sadhus never think ill of others. Only the envious do that. So don't be a demon. This is the purport here. And Prahlad prays, let such persons be pacified, giving up cruelty. Let all others think of their mutual welfare, Shivam. And he raises the same doubt that how is that possible among those who have no peace? When are the demons ever peaceful? To the extent that we are demons, to that extent we are also not peaceful. Because we're trying to push a program that isn't natural. And it doesn't work like that. So, therefore he says, Manashtabhadram, may all living beings have peaceful minds or auspicious minds. May all of us living entities become absorbed, aveshyatam, with the unmotivated or desireless minds in you, the transcendental Lord, Adhokshaja. Thus only can there be universal auspiciousness, Vishwasya Swasti. So this is, as we heard from Srila Prabhupada's purport, devotional service is the process by which we become peaceful. It's the process by which we can even have an inclination to think of others' welfare. And it's the process that we can share with others as well. And Prahlad Maharaj is praying in the last line. He says, Manashtabhadram bhajatarad hokshaje aveshyatam no matirapi. Naha matir api. Even our minds. Why does he say even us? Think about it. May even our minds become absorbed like this. Why does he say that? He considers himself a non-devotee. Even he's the great Saint Prahlad Maharaj, but because his family connection was there, no? So he considers, I'm just a demon, who am I to pray like that? But anybody can pray like this, even a demon. In fact, who is that? Velukuri Krishna, anybody heard of him? Tamils, no, they know him, yeah. So he was giving one katha, and he said that Vibhishana, when he came to surrender to Lord Ramchandra, so many of them didn't trust him, so they were having an internal debate. You know, should we trust this guy? Should we kill him? What should we do? You know? And Vibhishana interjected and said, hey, you people, you know, you got to remember I'm a demon. You better accept me before I change my mind. Let me surrender to Ramchandra. So, yeah, the demons, you know, as long as we retain our demoniac spirit, we're not going to have an easy time in devotional service. And we may perform pseudo-devotional service. That also goes on. So, anyway, the process is this. If we aveshyatam no matirapi, haituki, if we all embrace somehow or other a haituki bhakti means no personal desire for fruitive gain, no personal desire even for liberation, just the desire to please Krishna, God. Then we can actually, everything will become auspicious, because that is the root of the tree that we know as dharma. Bijam dharma dhrumasya. So these are a few things we can think about in this verse from the previous commentators through the last several centuries of Vaishnavas and Acharyas who have considered the meaning of this verse. Swasti astu vishvasya. May the whole universe become auspicious. Khala prasidatam. As long as the rascals are pacified also. Dhyayantu bhutani. May they think of each other instead of themselves. And how do they think of each other? Shivam mitothya. Thinking of each other's mutual welfare. How do you do that? It's not possible unless your mind is auspicious. Therefore, manashtabhadramcha. Let their minds be auspicious. And how does that happen? Bhajatadad hokshaje, by worshipping Krishna, the Lord who is completely transcendental to all these things. And aveshyatam no matirapi. May even we enter into the spirit of ahaituki bhakti. And how do we define ahaituki? Anybody recall? There are two separate definitions given by all these, you say, half a dozen acharyas. Two major. You have to have been listening very carefully, otherwise you will miss it. One, two, three acharyas are saying ahaituki here means nishkama, no personal desire. Others say palabhi sandhirahita. It means devoid of any attachment to the fruits of the action. Same thing, stated in different ways. That's ahaituki. And as we said already, koi hetu nahi hona. So if you have no personal desire, you're only trying to please the Lord. Now, how in the world are you going to do that? Let's say we're entry-level Krishna consciousness, we're coming in as demons. How are you going to do all this? It seems overwhelming, isn't it? So tell me what to do about it. Who knows? Oh, come on. Yeah. How are we going to embrace this principle of ahaituki bhakti when we're straight off the street, as covered over demons, full of so many desires for so many things in this material world? How are we going to embrace this? Yeah, how are we going to do that? There is a process. What is that process? Yeah, bhakti yoga. Yeah. What is the primary manifestation of bhakti yoga? Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, so many places throughout the Shastra, this is the prescription given, that Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalau nasyeva gatiranyatha. When the teacher repeats it 3 times and writes it on the chalkboard, you know it's going to be on the test, right? This is the thing you have to get. So, this Brihanaradiya Purana says that. Bhagavatam itself says, Kaler doshnir hirajanasya hyeko mahadguna. Even though this Kali Yuga is an ocean of flaws, there's one good quality. What is that? Kirtanadeva Krishnasya muktabandha parambrajet. Just by doing Krishna's kirtan, then you become liberated from all the ugly stuff that's in your heart. It goes away. It does. Trust me. And what's the next thing that happens? Parambrajet. You go back to Godhead. So simply by Sankirtana, this is how we can come, even though we're feeling like demons and acting like demons half the time also. This is how we can come to embrace this principle by which everything becomes auspicious. This selflessness of ahaituki bhakti. You have to chant the holy name. You have to soften your heart. Now we're all hard-hearted. But when we soften our hearts, then we can do all the things that are prescribed in this verse by Prahlad Maharaj. Very, very wonderful sentiments, exemplary sentiments, as Prabhupada hinted in the beginning of his purport. We should never forget that this is what a Vaishnava really is. We're all like probate Vaishnavas. Or, we're practicing, what is the word for it I read the other day? Bhaktabhas. We're Bhaktabhasa. Shadow devotees, kind of imitating, as they say in the famous adage, you have to fake it until you make it. That's what we're all doing, in fact. We don't really feel that much. But hote, as you chanting, eventually you'll awaken something. You will become purified. Just try it. The only thing we can do to convince you is somehow try to encourage you to try it. If you do that, then zarur you will get the result. You will feel the change. You will feel it. Krishna promises, he reminds Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, many, many people in the past did this. They became purified, and what did they get as a result? Puta? Yeah. Bahuvo jnana tapasa puta mad bhavam agataha. Means many people in the past also, they embraced this knowledge, they acted on it, and they got the result. So why not you? Now I'm going to add another dimension here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just a mere 5 centuries ago, he gave an open injunction to all Indians. Bharata bhumite hoilo manushya janma jar, janma shartha karo, karo parupakar. Anybody born in India, you have to consider that you have an advantage over the rest of the world. You do. Because other people, they're not even thinking that they're not sure there's such a thing as God. They don't even realize that I'm not this body, not even theoretically. They can't even imagine that there's such a thing as the soul. You all, it's automatic. Just by socialization in traditional Hindu families at least, this is automatically there. So whatever you know, you have to share. Jare dekhe tare kaha, Krishna upadesh. Amar agnai guru hai tare desh. Wherever you're living, a desh kamalab, hey, Phoenix, Arizona, will be. So he says, whoever you see, you share with him whatever you have realized. Doesn't matter, even if the only thing you know is that you should go to the Hare Krishna temple on Sunday afternoon. They have very nice halwa. If that's all you've realized, fine, but share it with somebody, because the other person may catch fire. You just don't know what's in other people's hearts. You don't know who's going to respond and who isn't. Some people are more fortunate than others. So, I mean, I didn't have that great advantage. I was born in Hollywood, of all places, not the most pious place in the world. But, somehow or other Krishna arranged that I was able to take to Krishna consciousness, and in half a century I'm still doing it, so that means I must be getting some taste, right? You use your own logic, it's common sense. All right, I'm going to stop here, but if anybody has any questions or any comments, yes?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. My question is regarding, one of the aspect of life that you explained while explaining the principle that is a samanya, or same between the animal and the human, the ahara nidra that you addressed there, and you highlighted a little bit detail onto the defense part of it, the defending part of it. Now, my question is there some level of a defense even the devotees of Krishna need to get, keep them up to? Because what we see... Of course.
That's why you need a ring camera.
Yes. Like even in the case of like scriptures, the two of the greatest war that we hear is Dev Asur Sangraham and the Mahabharata, that are the history, the greatest war that were fought. Now the churning of the milk ocean was based on the defense. The demons were trying to defend their position from the demigod, but rather Krishna helped to defend the position of the demigods there. The defense applied in that war. And somewhat into Mahabharata, although the philosophical discussion took place and Krishna refuted the argument of Arjuna, how it was not for his defense purpose, but rather for the purpose of devotional service that he is going to fight a war. But in this sense, some level of defense is being there in both aspects. What is the limit for the devotees to defend themselves? Because everyone works to defend their families.
It's very simple. You have to do your duty. Your duty, not someone else's duty. So, the very nature of dharma is such, you've heard the adage, dharma rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect dharma, you'll be protected by dharma. If you destroy dharma, it will destroy you. So, a person, Arjuna was confused in Bhagavad Gita, and please note, what was his confusion? Dharma samurha chetaha. He told Krishna, I'm confused about what is my dharma. Means he was at least concerned about dharma. That's why I just told you that if you're an Indian, you're automatically above everybody else, because you have this concept. That's one thing. But everybody has to do their own dharma, and when Krishna is telling us, advising us, how do you know what to do and what not to do? It's a little difficult, isn't it? Because life is confusing. This world is more complicated than the facade of a Tamil Gopuram. So, this very simple principle is easy to apply as well if you understand the Shastras, which you should. Then you just have to do your own duty. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Kari Vichanataha. Now, how does this answer your question? Do you see the connection? If everybody does their own duty only, does not encroach upon others, does not do less than what the universe expects of them, then everything will go on very harmoniously. The disharmony in this world is caused by the inhabitants of this world. The people are trying to do something other than what is natural to them, and they create imbalance. And just like in Ayurveda, if okay, we all like gulab jamuns, and if you're North Indian, you like gulab jamuns with ice cream. But if that's all you eat, then you can expect some major health problems, isn't it? Because it's imbalanced. Shadrasa hona chahiye. You have to have a little bit bitter, you have to a little bit pungent, a little bit spicy, everything different. Everything has to be in equilibrium. So the world is also like that. This human body is but a microcosm of this macrocosm. So, everybody has their part to perform, and that is stated in the Shastra. So just do the standard thing that the Shastra says. Don't get creative, don't get mischievous, don't start scheming, and don't start cheating. I know that's hard, but yeah. When you remember when they demonetized the large rupee notes a few years back? So, I went into the bank and I had maybe 15,000 rupees in the house. So I thought, let me be a good citizen. I'll follow the instruction during the grace period and I'll deposit my money in my bank. And the teller would not take my money. I said, why? And they said, no, you have to show us that you got this through legal means. We need to see an encashment certificate. Okay. All right. Can I have a letter, please, from the branch manager that states that? And the letter should have your letterhead on it. No, we can't do that. Means he was cheating also, right? Everybody cheating there. I know this. So, what did I do? I went on the black market and got it taken care of in 5 minutes. So even Chanakya Pandit says, it's not so good to be so saralasita all the time. Even Yudhishthir Maharaj had to see hell because of that, is it not? Right? You know the story. Krishna told him to tell the lie that Ashwatthama has died. And he hesitated to do that. It's not that he saw hell because he told a lie. He saw hell because he disobeyed the Supreme Lord. So Chanakya Pandit says, in this world, everybody's not straight. And those who are straight, they get chopped down first, is it not? Straight trees, they get chopped down first. So you have to be a little bit intelligent. You don't have to exercise kutinati, you don't have to become a politician, but you do have to use your intelligence, but within the grammatical framework of what we call dharma. You can't do somebody else's dharma, you can't neglect your own dharma, you can't do cheating dharma, you can't do something that looks like dharma that isn't. You have to do your own thing. And that's why we need gurus who can help us. Huh? Yeah, the guru tells you. Guru, 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 guru. Okay? This is why the Mundaka Upanishad tells us, Tad vijnanartam se saguram evabhigachet. Samit pani shrotrim brahmanishtam. You need a guru. Life is very complicated. We've said that already. And the only way you can figure it out is somebody who's free. They can see everything very clearly. Krishna tells us this in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. People who are following this process very nicely, they can see everything clearly. Those who are not following, even if they're trying, they can't see clearly. That's us. So, you have to do your own dharma. Everything will work out fine. But dharma is not an easy thing to understand. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is transcendental dharma, not so easy to understand. So guru hona chahiye. Theek hai? Or? No other questions? Or comments? Doubts also you can express, if you're so inclined. Nahi to, then yeah, please.
Maharaj, just a quick comment. Just thank you for the nectar and your mercy.
That's all.
Speak into the microphone.
Maharaj, thank you for your nectar, for the nectar and the mercy.
Thanks, Srila
Thank you so much.
Prabhupada. He did all the hard work. I'm just repeating it. He stayed up all night. I'm saying this at 6 p.m. No austerity for me whatsoever. Think about it. You know what Prabhupada also said? He said, I've put so much work into this gift that I'm leaving for you. Even a half century later, the gift that Prabhupada gave us is still benefiting us. Show some gratitude. Dive into those books, read those books, assimilate those books, share those books. This is what we should do. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, in the back here. Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam. Prabhuji, you talked about the balance in the bank, and you put me in such a deep thought that we are all thinking about the bank balance for the money. And I'm thinking, what is my balance with Krishna consciousness? So I'm just kind of thinking, what do I need to do to have more balance with my Krishna?
You know what? I live in Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, if you go over by the Rangaji temple, there's a small temple. Nobody knows it. It's called Kanch Mandir, Mirror Temple. Small. Have you been there? Very beautiful little deities are there. And at the side of that temple, there's an annex of that temple, which is called the Radharani Ka Naam Bank. So, you know, people, Hindus, they always write down so many names of Bhagavan on their notebooks, and they fill up a notebook and they deposit it in that account. So, you know, we have a direct deposit system. It's very much easier. You don't have to go to Vrindavan, you don't have to write anything down, you just have to chant on your mala, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But really connect. Don't just chant with your tongue and with your fingers. But really, you know, chant, as you said earlier, with your soul. And then Krishna hears that. Otherwise, you know, we do so many things in Krishna consciousness, sometimes we get habituated, especially if we're born in South Asia, we think we already know everything. And we get habituated and we're going through it empty-headed, and we don't even realize that we're empty-headed. So, you know, we have to really take it and put some conscious effort into it. Conscious effort. Tamal Krishna Goswami used to say, before you can become Krishna conscious, first you have to become conscious. So that's a start. I hope that's helpful. Okay, nothing else? Another one here.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Panditji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. I have a question here about nurturing of kids. I am a blessed mother of 2 sons here, and some point of time I feel like something is missing here. Like being in states, it is not that easy to connect, to make my kids connect with our culture or this kind of traditional things. Because most of the time they are in schools and with friends, and they are fascinated for some Godzilla, dinosaurs from here.
Yeah.
So sometimes I try my best to redirect them to this path also, but still I felt something is missing. So can you please guide us how to help them to connect with these things?
Where's our temple president? Is she here at the moment? Yeah. It seems we have a lot of young children and young families here with many children, isn't it? Yeah, so Sunday school, yeah, okay, very good. So, you know, one thing is that you can bring the kids on Sunday, you can involve them with other kids. There's a few things to consider here. One thing is that Srila Prabhupada said, from birth until about 5 years of age, you don't bother disciplining anything. Just let them do whatever they want, you facilitate them, and that will make them love you. Right? And then from 5 to, say, teenage, then you have to discipline a little bit strongly. But even then, the love should be more dominant than the chastisement or the punishment or the corrections. The love should definitely be more palpable always. After they're teenagers, even as early as maybe 13 I've seen, there's not much you can do for them. Because at that point, you're no longer the guru. The older kids are now the new gurus, because the older kids embody that sacred ideal of coolness. They just want to be cool. And so, there's not much you could do after that. But what you can do at every step, all three, from birth until they leave the home, you can be what you want your kids to be. Because every parent should know, if they don't already know, they don't listen to what you say, they see what you do. And that's a lot stronger than anything else. So if you set the proper example and you're happy doing that, I've seen this many times, you don't even have to instruct them to do anything. They will automatically want to follow what you're doing, because they will see. They're sensitive to that. They have a lot more empathy than we give them credit for. They understand what's making you go, where you're deriving your rasasvadana from, and they will go for that. So if you're really tasting Krishna consciousness, then they're going to do it automatically. You don't even have to instruct them to do so. They'll be eager to do it. But like you said, there is a great, there's a jhagada here. There's a conflict. Because what they're getting at home is one thing, even if it's imperfect. But what they're getting in school, that's perfect. That's perfect Maya. Nobody's going to give them anything about Krishna at school. So, you have to deal with that. And they are being, you put it pretty liberally, I would say they're being brainwashed. And you know what Prabhupada said about schools in the 1970s? He said they were like slaughterhouses, where the children's minds are being slaughtered, their hearts are being slaughtered. And that was in the 1970s. Now they're going to school and they're getting pure Marxist doctrine, feminism, the idea that you can choose any of 5 genders, all sorts of things they're getting. And they become complete nonsense and demoniac half the time. So, you've got to deal with that. One way to deal with it, as I said in the beginning, you enroll your kids at least in the Sunday school, depending on what age they are, of course. But otherwise, all you can do with teenagers especially is you can, from behind the scenes preferably, you can arrange that they come into the association of kids a little older than them who are Krishna conscious. And probably one of the best vehicles that I've seen for that to happen, kirtan. They all love to do kirtan and such things. In India, in previous ages, they would take up dance and so many other things. Now it's like, it's an onslaught. We're in a culture that is not accommodating and is not conducive either. So it's a very tough situation. It's not unlike North India about 500 years ago. But it's in your house. It's in their hands. And you see them all day, right? This is the problem. Frankly speaking, I can say this, that the amount of damage that foreign invaders did to India from about 700 AD on, until the British came, was not as much as the British were able to accomplish in 200 years. 700 years of, West and Central Asian dominance, and then 200 years of British dominance. But within the last 30 or 40 years only, I've seen that this, global telecommunications kind of internet culture, which is what it is, it's done so much damage to South India. Anybody who's older than 30 has maybe seen this, or especially if you're older than 40 or 50. Things really started changing around 1990. In a major way. And what did that coincide with? Anybody can tell me, old-timers? What happened around 1990? Star TV, Asta, cell phones, all this stuff, yeah? So this is what it is. You know, so we're up against a huge monster in the form of this whole, you know, anti-devotional pseudo-civilization. So we got to deal with it. The best thing is if you find a community in which there are many concerned parents who have children that require a decent education and protection, frankly, because anything can happen when you go to school nowadays. You could even be shot. So, you know, you band together, you put together whatever educational system you can muster. That's, who else is going to help you? Nobody. It's not very pleasing information, but I don't see much alternative. I hope that's helpful in some ways. Okay. Anything else? And think about this carefully, because it takes one generation of neglect. That's all you need to do. Neglect this Sanskriti for one generation, and you wipe out thousands of years of cumulative wisdom and culture and religious, you know, everything. So, yeah, take it seriously. All right, we have to stop now. We're very late. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
I think we can do better than that. Big round of applause for His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for a lot of good instructions. Hope we all heard and got something that we can apply in our lives. Prabhu has one more class at ASU on Tuesday. It's going to be in the evening, and if you like any information, you can contact Sita Kumari Mataji or Sham Gopal Prabhu. If you want to raise your hand, then people can. So they can give you more information regarding that class at ASU on Tuesday evening. So, Prabhu, thank you so much for having that program on Tuesday. We do not have any sponsors today, and that's unusual. So, if anybody would like to sponsor today, they're welcome to do so. But before I forget, I'd like to wish everybody, all the fathers, a very happy Father's Day. Just a few announcements, and then we'll take blessings and serve prasadam. So this coming Saturday, for those of you who follow Ekadashi, it's Yogini Ekadashi. We fast from grains and beans. So that's this coming Saturday. Then we also have Braj Vilas Prabhu visiting us from Mumbai. He's going to be here on Friday and Saturday. Friday evening there's going to be a home program. Saturday morning there's going to be a program at the temple. And Saturday evening there's going to be another home program. So please RSVP to the hosts for the home programs. And the temple programs at 10:30, and Ekadashi Prasadam will be served. So that's this coming Saturday. And the title for all three classes is going to be very similar to what we've been discussing this week with Mukunda Datta Prabhu. And it's going to be Life Lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's going to be part 1, 2, and 3. Is coming Friday and Saturday. So please plan to join us. Braj Vilas Prabhu is, Braj Vihari Prabhu, sorry, is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and he's from Chopati. He really is a nice preacher, and he's been here a couple of times, and I think a lot of you had asked us to invite him again, so he's coming this coming weekend. So please join us. Our regular programs continue. Our morning sadhana program starts every morning at 5 o'clock. We start actually a little bit before 5 as well. We do our chanting from 5 to 5:40. Then we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, discuss that, and the program finishes at 6 o'clock. It's via Zoom and also on YouTube. And then we have live Srimad Bhagavatam class from the temple at 7:35 every day, and it's also live streamed on Facebook. You can also join us there. And then in the evenings we have Vaishnavis read from Chaitanya Charitamrita from Monday through Friday from 4:30 to 5:30. So that is every day, Monday through Friday. Vaishnavis read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then we also finish our day at night reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita from Monday through Thursday, and that's also via Zoom. So we start our day reading Srimad Bhagavatam and finish our day reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please join us if you can with those programs. And our youth also read from Srimad Bhagavatam every Sunday from 2 to 3 via Zoom. So that's been continuing for some time. Right now, the Sunday school and the Hindi classes are on hold till 24th of August, Mataji, you were talking about. So we have 3 classes of Sunday school, and we also teach Hindi. We have 2 classes of that. So the Sunday school classes are here at the temple from every Sunday from 5:30 to 6:30. And we start from age around 5, a little bit younger also if they're mature enough, and we go up to 14, and then they join the youth group. So we have a nice curriculum for each class. It's divided into 3, 4 to 6, and then 6 to 9, and then 9 to 14. So if you need more information, we have Namapriya Devidasi. She's standing over there by the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's picture in blue sari. And we can give you more information about the Sunday school program. And Hindi classes we have in person on Saturdays and Sundays, on Saturdays via Zoom, and on Sundays in person. So we have Hindi classes as well, and we can give you more information later. But right now they are on hold. We just completed the school, so it follows the school year, pretty much May through August. And we just finished, August through May. And we just finished that, and we had our summer camp here about a week ago. And children really learn a lot from the school. It's a varied curriculum, and it helps children connect a lot, because like Prabhu said, they will be meeting, senior school children who are Krishna conscious, and we have a really wonderful youth kirtan group here, and a lot of them have taught themselves or learned from each other. And you will see they might be doing some kirtan later on today. They're very, very much into serving Krishna and into Krishna consciousness, and there was no pressure put on them. But they are taught many things. Even they put on their own dramas, small skits and things as well through the year. So every so often we ask them to give a class, and they show their parents and the congregation what they've learned in those 3 months or 2 months. So it's please look into that, and maybe that will help you. And we have yoga classes every Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30. We also offer puja and catering services from the temple. And we also read Srila Prabhupada's books during the week from Monday through Thursday. And it's from 7:05 to 7:35 on Facebook via Zoom. So if you cannot connect at that time, the class will be sitting there, and you can join at your leisure. And currently we are reading from Nectar of Devotion. So please join us for that also. And soon we are going to be starting Bhagavad Gita reading also. And last but not least, we have, although we don't have a sponsor, we have a special birthday. And our Partha Sarthi Prabhu, who is our head cook, is celebrating his birthday today. So please give him a round of applause. We never get a chance to appreciate him, so I hope Partha Sarthi Prabhu will come here and at least accept a Mahagarland from His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu, if I may ask you to. Partha Sarthi Prabhu, आइए यहाँ. We have to. So your prasadam arrangements and your catering, he's the person to go to. So Partha Sarthi Prabhu, thank you so much for all your wonderful seva. Really appreciate it. Hare Krishna. So we'll recite the prasadam prayers, and then we'll form single line. Children and elderly people and volunteers will come first, and then the rest of us can join the line, and the same will follow with the prasad. Before I finish, which is the next big festival coming up that we've been trying to... Balaram Jayanti, Shri Krishna Janmashtami. So you've seen a lot of flyers for Krishna Janmashtami. Please see Shivananda Prabhu. There are a lot of sevas available. We have a beautiful new dress and new decorations coming, and so many other things happening. So please see Shivananda Prabhu if you'd like to help us celebrate Janmashtami in a very, very big way, but we need your support. And also if you'd like to volunteer for any seva, he's got a sign-up sheet there also. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Naiva Jayate Sharirar Vidyaja Jodendriya Trahika Vishay Samsare Krishna Bada Doyo Bai Hari Bari Jiva Jai Swaprasadan Dilo Bai Sayyana Amrita Pao Shri Radha Krishna Gunagao Premi Rako Shri Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Radha Madhuri Mahaprasadam Ki Jai.
Schedule, but it got cancelled. Cancelled like 4 months ago, but still. Maybe I mentioned to you back then. It's okay.
Or else you can do it.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine पदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने.
Government and looked after funding. So maybe I can give you some resources whom you can.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol. Nam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Because it's a different, because of the different,